Hey everyone, this is Kevin from Kevin's Microfleet. Today I've got a Micro Galaxy Squadron review. We're going to be taking a look at the Series 6 Starfighter class rare, Hera's X-Wing. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the figures, at the vehicle, at the packaging. We'll do some measurements and we'll do a comparison. Let's go ahead and dive into the review. Now let's dive into the packaging here first. On the front here, you got Hera Syndulla's X-Wing number 126 from Star Wars Rebels. Pretty cool that Micro Galaxy Squadron has started to include these show and movie tags onto all of their items that they've got, which is a nice little feature. You've got your rare 1 of 15,000. You got a picture here of Hera going in the X-Wing. Then you can see there's Hera and Chopper as well as the X-Wing. As we turn this thing around to the back, you get a chance to see what the features are of the X-Wing. There's your Hera Syndulla's X-Wing Starfighter class, and then you've got your blueprint, as well as the other vehicles that come in the line, and the one chase vehicle there. If you're looking for the UPC, here is the UPC right there. All of the UPCs for the Starfighter class are the same, so it doesn't really matter which one you select. They will all come up the same way if you were trying to search for them. So let's go ahead and break this thing out of the box, and we'll see what it looks like. So now this is opened up, we'll go ahead and look at the card backing. This is always one of my favorite things to look at, just to see, are there any Easter eggs in here for some other vehicles that we might get? You can see there's one X-Wing flying here. Can't really tell what that is. It looks like it might be Red Leader, but unsure. You get some TIE fighters there in the background as well, and then you obviously get your Star Destroyer. As we continue to open this packaging, on the underside here, you do get like a small little display. And here we get a chance to see there is another X-Wing that looks like Hera's X-Wing actually right there. That is Hera's X-Wing. And a TIE fighter with a Star Destroyer. So you could use this as a little display if you wanted to set this down like that, or however you want to display it. Now, the other thing that we get here with the packaging, which I've already taken the figures out, but we'll take a look at this here in a minute, at the figures in a minute. Here is your little pillbox figure pack here that you've got. Hera Syndulla, and you get Hera Syndulla, and you get Chopper as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the actual X-Wing itself. So before we get into the X-Wing itself, let's go ahead and take a look at the figures that we get. So the first one here is we get Chopper. So you do get Chopper here. He's got some fantastic paint detailing there on the top of his dome. It does look like there's a little bit of battle damage there on the front of him. He's got his one leg here that's different colored. He's got this nice little blue color. As we turn him around, you can see there's just a little bit of paint detailing there on the back. It's amazing that they've got these lines to be so straight. And the paint application looks really, really nice. He's got a little hole there in the bottom to be able to plug him into the top of the X-Wing. And so the one thing I wanted to do is to know whether or not this one is different than the version that we get in the Phantom. And here is what they look like. So there is a very slight deco difference. You can see again here with the Chopper, the X-Wing Chopper for Hera has got a little bit of scoring there, or battle damage on the front of him. And then also on the bottom, the peg hole is just ever so slightly bigger than the version that comes in the Phantom. So you can see there on the bottom what that looks like. As we turn him around to the back looks about the exact same. And then there you can see what it looks like from there. So now let's go ahead and take a look at Hera. So here is our Hera that we get, actually in her X-Wing flight suit, which looks really, really nice. You can see she's actually got the goggles there on the top. They didn't paint those, but they still did a fantastic job there with the paint application on the face, as well as the head tails there on the back. This is really cool to have her actually in an X-Wing flight suit, which looks incredible. And so she's got articulated arms and legs. Now, again, if we look at Hera compared to some of her other versions, the first version of Hera that we get actually is the A-Wing Hera from Series 2. And so you can see she's in obviously a completely different outfit. They still did a really, really nice job with this one. And then you get our Hera that comes with the Ghost. So they did an updated deco on it. Looks a little bit better, a little cleaner on the lines there for the paint application. Head tails still look really nice. So very cool that they were able to get all of that detail in a figure of this size. And then the final one that I'd want to compare this to is actually a custom version that I made, which is for an Action Fleet X-Wing. And so with this one, I made this one all on my own out of just putting together a bunch of different parts. So this is much more of a kit bash. You can see she's got actually head tails that are sticking off her body, painted on the goggles and all of that. So felt really good when I originally did it, looking at the difference between the two. It does look kind of funny compared to the actual Micro Galaxy version that is mass produced, but very cool to be able to see the difference. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the actual X-Wing itself. So if we go just features here, front to back, this is the same as all of the other X-Wings. Actually, before we do that, let's just look at the deco. The deco on this is really, really good. I am surprised that they got that much deco and paint application onto something like this, especially considering what we saw with the Series 1 X-Wing, Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. There is just very little paint application. They have a ton of different colors on here. You've got the green on there, the gray, the white. You've got this little orangish stripe there. You got the orange here, yellow on there. As we flip this thing to the underside, even the underside is painted really nice. So this whole part right here is all painted. That's not actually just the regular plastic color. You've got the scoring marks that are on there. You got the black on here on the back, these two little yellow dots, the yellow down there on the bottom. I mean, it is very, very well done. I'm surprised, again, that they put that much effort into painting this thing. There's really nothing on the inside of the wings, which makes sense, just because of how much they did on the outside. It's pretty incredible. It does have this battle damage here, which is on the different wings as well as on the side of the cockpit. And again, looks really, really cool. On the very back here, you do get the engine glow as well as the silver on there, which looks really cool. You've got the opening landing gear. You've got the little ejector here on the bottom to eject out the droid, and then you have your opening cockpit. Those are the main features of this vehicle. As we've seen with all of the X-Wings, there is nothing really new about that. They have corrected over the course of time that when you collapse the wings like that, the main fuselage does stay in the same position. This guy is really tight. I'm trying to push that thing back. I'm going to break that. Fix that later. But yep, that landing gear is super tight. I think that's mainly from the paint application that it's just made the joint really tight. But yeah, really, really nice job here with this one. Now, if we look at this guy compared to, this was a version that I did. This is an Action Fleet custom with just some water slide decals. You can see I did a lot of my detailing on this based off of what I saw on the show. And so you can see it looks very similar with the yellow marking here on the top of the wing as well as the orange there. All of the markings here on the side, I was surprised at how well they did with all of that. The bottom is one that's very difficult to find actually in an image. So you know, you kind of have to make it up a little bit in terms of what the bottom looks like, but very, very cool. And I'm super impressed that they did this. It's great to be able to add this to the Rebels line with all of the other Rebels vehicles that we get, and I hope that we continue to see more. Now, if we look at this compared to a couple other vehicles in the Micro Galaxy line, you've got first your A-Wing. So this is Hera's A-Wing. This is the Resistance A-Wing. This is not actually the A-Wing that she flew in the show. And then just to show this compared to the Series 1 X-Wing, I mean, again, look at the difference in the quality of the paint application. I mean, it's amazing what they've done. They've really changed it around a lot, and it looks awesome. They've also decreased the wash. This does have a light gray wash on it, which helps with the panel lining, which is totally different than what they did with the Series 1, which is more of like a brownish type of a wash that really just looked like it got poured on. And you can see some of the pooling here on the top of the wings where that wash pooled. But they did do a great job of being able to figure out how to change that around so that it looks a little bit more realistic relative to what we would imagine it looking like. Now, if we do the measurements for this guy, this is the same as all of the other X-Wings. So if you're looking at this front to back, this is roughly 5.5 inches. Wingspan side to side is about 4 3/4 inches. And then when you open the wings here, it is about 1.5 inches tall. All of the figures are 1 inch. Chopper's obviously going to be less than that, but that is that. So I'm super excited to finally have this in hand and be able to review it for everybody. Thanks for tuning in for this long. If you liked, please go ahead and like and subscribe. Also, you can check out the links in the description below that have ways to find other Micro Galaxy Squadron toys. Again, thanks for tuning in. I look forward to catching everybody on the next review.